Hi guys, so today I'm going to do a really quick haul. I did do a Restyle haul very recently, but that was just jewellery that you could get from the site, and I have recently bought a whole load of t-shirts and sort of vest tops from the shop, so I just thought I would show you those. So this first top is a sort of punk edit of Ariel, and she's got a knuckle duster necklace. She's got tattoos all up her arms and there's a few on her body, and she's got this lovely bandana in her hair, and she's also got a piercing. T-shirt about 3 years ago, and bear in mind that I do wear this t-shirt very often. It's been in and out the wash constantly. There isn't really much aging to it. The only real thing, which is more sort of my fault, is the type of deodorant I used did leave a bit of a white stain, but that is nothing actually to do with the company. It's more my own fault. The only thing I've grown to dislike about this t-shirt is the plasticky material of which the design is, and when I wear this for, say, working out or at the gym, it does get very sweaty just because you can't really breathe through the type of material. I also do find with these types of material they very often crack, especially once they've been ironed and things like that, but this one hasn't cracked or lost any colour at all, so I'm really happy with that. Now, I did get this Restyle top from a different clothing site. I think it may have been Blue Banana, but that was before I actually discovered Restyle's site, so all of the other items from now on were from the actual site. So again, I bought the exact sort of same cut of t-shirt, but this one is an Edgar Allan Poe one. And the thing I noticed straight away with this top is that the plastic is definitely thinner and softer, and you can breathe easier through it, so it doesn't sort of get so sweaty when you wear it. Another thing with the plasticky t-shirts is they do tend to sort of ride up, whereas this type of plastic transfer doesn't really cause that. It definitely stays more in put. Now, I love how intricate the design is, and I think the black and white goes really well. Also, the design covers the main part of the top, which is something I really struggle to find within t-shirts, because sometimes the actual design is very small because it fits the extra small t-shirt, and they put the same design on the biggest t-shirts, so you end up with a lot of sort of spare cloth. Although I do believe that Restyle do actually size the t-shirt and the design together so that they both fit on each other perfectly. So the only time I've actually had to complain to Restyle was with this t-shirt, and if you can see, there is a safety pin on this shirt, and that is because when I got it, it actually had a hole in it. So this is the exact size of hole which the t-shirt came with. I haven't stretched it or anything. When I got it, I straight away noticed the hole, and I put the safety pin through it just to make sure it didn't run any further. Now, it's not really an issue just because I wear jumpers and cardigans and jackets all the time, so you couldn't really see it, but it just kind of showed that maybe the stitching and the seams weren't really that strong. Now, I did contact them, and they did say I could send it back and get another replacement. And also they offered me 15% off my next purchase, and they were very helpful and replied very quickly, so the customer service was great. Although I didn't really want to go through the hassle of sending it back and getting another one, just because I've been waiting for a while for this, because it comes from Poland. So I ended up just keeping it, and because it wasn't really a drastic hole or anything that kind of ruined the shirt or I couldn't fix, I just decided to keep it. Shirts still have tags on them because I literally got them a week ago. So this first one I got is from their new range, and it says "I put a spell on you," and it has a witch's hat in the middle with a little crescent moon on it. Now, again, it is a very sort of plasticky print, but it's not as thick as the Ariel one. It's still quite breathable. So the material used is quite thin, but it's not thin enough to see through or anything, but it is very stretchy and breathable, and it does mean that when you wash them, they go straight back to how they originally looked, which is something I find really important, because I do end up with a lot of t-shirts like this, which just end up stretching and getting bigger and bigger. So I got this because it reminded me of Hocus Pocus, because that is one of the songs within the film Hocus Pocus, is I Put a Spell on You, and I just thought it was a really nice style, especially with this slightly lower cut neck, which means I can wear a lot of my necklaces with it.
This is the story of how they met.
These in a size large, although my Ariel top is the only one I got in a size medium, and I do find that the Ariel top comes out the same size as the large ones, so I went for the large ones just because I prefer things to be slightly oversized to too tight. And although these tops were from the new range, they were surprisingly cheap. They only cost me about £5 British, and I think they're around €9 at the moment. So of course the last three tops are going to be Addams Family themed, because if anyone has been on my channel for at least 5 minutes, they'll know that I'm absolutely obsessed with the Addams Family. So the first one I got is, again, in exactly the same style and same t-shirt, but this one has Wednesday Addams on the front of it and exactly the same material. The only difference is that the print itself is a very sort of thick plastic, the same as the Ariel one, which is something I can see was going to be kind of bothering me when I wear this, just because it means it's going to get quite sweaty. But the weather is getting colder, we are now officially in winter, so getting a little hot wearing a t-shirt is probably going to be a good thing. Now I love this design, it's so intricate, and I love the fact that the only real colour in it is red, other than the obvious black and whites and greys, and red and black is my favourite combination of colours. In this design she's holding a poison bottle. She's also got the headless doll, which she is so commonly depicted with, which is just her sort of doll. And it also has a skull, and it's like a crossbones but it's made out of axes. It also has a few razors and swords and some bones around it, and I think it's just a very intricate yet sort of simple looking design.
Back of a pack of cigarettes, and when she touched him, he turned ruby red. A story that they'll never forget, never forget. And all the boys are smoking menthols, girls are getting back rubs. I will give to you.
I have quite a few Addams Family t-shirts, and this is definitely one of my favourite Wednesday Addams t-shirts. So this next shirt is my all-time favourite shirt I have ever got from Restyle, and it is the front cover of the Addams Family, and again this was super cheap. It has been in their range for a really long time, and it is classed on their website as a bestseller, and I can tell why, because the actual print is really soft. The only kind of plasticky bit is the writing, but that is in a place where it won't really affect you. And I just love the fact that the only colour in it is green, so it really stands out. And then of course it has the portrait. A lovely touch is this moon with a bat and all these little stars in the background. I do feel it ties the design really nicely together. Also like the fact that it does have the house and also thing at the bottom, because I do find that quite a few Addams Family tops which I've seen on eBay or just generally on the internet, which are just sort of copies and run-offs of this, they don't have the whole design in them. They're cut off at the bottom, which is something which has really sort of stopped me from buying the really cheap knockoff t-shirts. And the thing is, the t-shirts from Restyle are so cheap that there's no point sort of cheaping out on getting a sort of run-off one, because you'll only be saving yourself a couple of pounds. And the difference in quality between Restyle t-shirts and sort of the knockoff ones you can get from eBay and Dresslink is that these are just not see-through, and it's definitely worth paying the extra money so that the t-shirt is actually wearable. Last but not least, I did get this vest top, which is the same cut and style as the Edgar Allan Poe one and the Ariel one. The actual transfer itself is very similar in feel and quality to the Edgar Allan Poe one, and again it is just in black and white, and this is the old Morticia from sort of the 1960s TV series, not the one that is commonly known from the movies, and she is just doing her iconic thing of cutting the head off the rose, although when you look at it, it kind of looks like she's cutting her hair slightly, which is the only thing I don't really like about this top. itself is so intricate. You've got this lovely sort of border at the top, and again you've got a skull and crossbones at the bottom with these little chains. And I find with these designs, the more you look at them, the more you see. I just noticed that there's ivy all up the sides, which is a lovely sort of touch to it. And I do love the fact that they've gone into so much detail of the lace that's on her arms. And again, these vests are just as cheap as the t-shirts were, and they do seem to be equally high in quality. As I said, the only thing I found with the Restyle ones is that the seaming can be slightly off, hence why I had a slight hole in my Edgar Allan Poe vest. But honestly, out of all of the clothes I've bought from Restyle, that has been the only complaint I've ever had, and I've never had to call them up on any other faults within the shirts. So those are all the shirts which I bought from Restyle, and I will link Restyle below in the description, and I'll also put some links to some of the t-shirts which I showed you today. Again, I believe they are from Poland, but the shipping is actually quite fast. It does get here within a week, which is really good considering that they are shipping overseas. The shipping price for all these t-shirts was nothing more than £3. So again, it doesn't really cost you a load to actually get the items, which is something I find with these more cheap sites, is that you buy a load of stuff and then the shipping is almost double the total of the actual clothes that you're buying anyway. The service and the packaging of Restyle is also really nice. It's all a really high quality and nothing is sort of done half-heartedly, which is something I really like. And they also do give you text updates as to where your thing is, so you know where the parcel is, if it's left the country, if it's going to be delivered that morning, and you can also choose whether or not you want it to be signed for, which is something I think is very important, because sometimes I get items which I don't really care if they're signed for, but it means that if there's no one home, it ends up getting taken to the post office, and it's just a lot of running around to get something small which didn't really need to be signed for anyway. I was hoping to do a Killstar haul this month, and I did receive half of my purchase, but I'm still waiting for 3 more clothing items, and then I will be making that video. And from the tracking system, it kind of shows that it's going to be here before Friday, so hopefully I may have that up by the end of the week, or definitely the beginning of next week. So I hope you have a lovely week, and again, Restyle sells so many different styles of t-shirt, so possibly if these kind of t-shirts weren't so much your style, they definitely do other ones which may appeal to you more. They do also do a lot of sort of voucher codes and coupons, so signing up to their newsletter is definitely a good idea. If the coupons are great if you're going to buy a sort of big bulk of items, like I end up sort of buying like 4 necklaces and a few t-shirts or maybe a dress from Restyle, and it does all add up, as you probably know. So getting a coupon code or just a voucher definitely takes a good sort of chunk off the bill, and it definitely makes it worth it. So I'll see you next time. Have a good week. Bye!